Hello everybody, welcome to my market recap and summary for the day. This video and all future videos will be comprised of a summary of what happened in the day's trading, consisting of equities, bonds, specifically emphasis on the 10-year note, currencies, and futures, as well as underlying internals, as well as maybe some commentary and the economic calendar for the week to see what's going to go on and can possibly cause volatility in the markets. Let's begin. The Dow Jones Industrial Average closed the day at a record high, 19,152.14, up 68.96 points or 0.36%. The Nasdaq Composite closed at 5398.92, up 18.24 or 0.34%. The S&P 500 closed at 2213.35, up 8.63 points or 0.39%. The Russell 2000 closed at 1347.20, up 5.11 points or 0.38%. Over in Japan, the Nikkei 225 closed at 18,381.22, up 47.81 points or 0.26%. Over in Europe, the FTSE 100 over in England, no, it's not Britain, it's England, damn it, closed at 6840.75, up 11.55 or 0.17%. Going on to further indices, please excuse the fire trucks in the background as I have my window open. The Nasdaq 100 or the triple Qs closed at 4870.02, up 16.15 points or 0.33%. The S&P Midcap 400 closed at 1640.81, up 5.24 points or 0.32%. The S&P Small Cap 400 closed at 825.28, up 3.61 points or 0.44%. The NYSE Composite Index closed at 10,878.09, up 42.19 points or 0.39%. Going on, the Gold and Silver Index or the XAU closed at 79.13, up 0.21 points or 0.26%. The Semiconductor or the SOX Index closed at 890.97, up 1.66 points or 0.19%. The CBOE Volatility Index or the VIX Index closed at 12.34, down 0.09 points or down 0.72%. Looking at market internals today, being that it was a thinly traded day, the volume was thinner than average, later than average, because the market closed 3 hours early at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Looking at total share volume on the New York Stock Exchange was 1.581 billion shares traded, of which 970 million shares were advancing, 572 million shares were declining, and 38 million shares were unchanged. Looking over at the Nasdaq stock market, total share volume today, 766 million shares, of which 509 million shares were advancing, 236 million shares were declining, and 21 million shares were unchanged. Looking at the NYSE market or the AMEX, total share volume, 50.6 million shares, of which 33 million shares were advancing, 16.1 million shares were declining, and 1.5 million shares were unchanged. Looking at the advanced decline line or market breadth today, in the New York Stock Exchange, 1,895 shares were advancing, 1,039 shares were declining, and 124 shares were unchanged. Looking at the Nasdaq market, 1,727 shares were advancing, 958 shares were declining, and 195 shares were unchanged. Now, when I say shares, I mean issues. Looking at the NYSE market, or Amex, 167 issues were advancing, 103 issues were declining, and 25 issues were unchanged. Going on to the currency markets, the euro versus the dollar at 1.0594, the yen 113.04. Now mind you, these are all versus the US dollar. My favorite currency, the English pound, is at 1.2465 to the dollar. The Australian dollar, 0.7434. Swiss franc is at 101.40. And the dollar index closed at 91.81. Looking at the futures markets, selected futures. Looking at the price of West Texas Intermediate or Light Sweet Crude, last trade, 45.96, down $2 or 4.17%. Looking at Brent North Sea Crude, last trade, 47.02, down $1.98 or 4.04%. Looking at the price of gold, 1186.10, down $6.3 or 0.53%. Looking at the price of silver, $16.585, up 0.10 or 10 cents, or up 0.61%. Looking at the equity futures, the Dow Jones Industrial Future contract, currently 19,147, up 93 points, or 0.49%. Looking at the E-mini S&P contract, 2211.50, up 10.75 points, or 0.49%. Looking at the 10-year bond, down 1/32, yield to maturity at 2.358%. Now, I'm emphasizing the 10-year bond because as the yield trends up or down, so does the 30-year mortgage. This is a good way to forecast which way mortgage rates will go. It's not a tight correlation, it's very loose, but it works. Looking ahead to next week's economic calendar. You're going to have to bear with me as I have to look at my other screen, so excuse that. On Monday, we have the Dallas Fed meeting. On Tuesday, fairly action-packed, we have Stanley Fischer speaking, GDP, Red Book survey, the Case-Shiller Index. Also, Fed Governor William Dudley is speaking as well, consumer confidence. On Wednesday, the 30th, we have mortgage applications coming out. Fed Governor Robert Kaplan, ADP employment report, personal income and outlays, Chicago PMI, pending home sales, the EIA petroleum report, how much oil has come out, has been used, greater or less than expectations. That can affect oil prices very easily. The Fed's Beige Book survey as well on Wednesday. Thursday, we have chain store sales, the Challenger job report, the PMI manufacturing index, the ISM manufacturing index, construction spending, and the natural gas report as well. Also, we have the balance sheet and money supply from the Federal Reserve. On Friday, we have the all-important employment report. Let's see if we can get that U6 to drop, huh? Those of you that don't know, when you see that the jobless rate was, let's say, at 5%, that's not the true number. That's the quoted number. You want to look at the U6, which is the total unemployment rate. That currently sits at 9.7%. That tells you how the job market really is. So let's see how these numbers come out. Let's see how this week is going to be. It might be fairly volatile. I want you guys to have a good weekend, and I hope this video was of use to you. If it was, please like, subscribe, and share. You can follow me on Facebook and on Twitter, as well as please go to my Patreon page, and if you really enjoyed it, if this was of any use to you, please consider supporting me. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you on Monday. Thank you.